I wanted to share a little bit about my experience with isolation. I was an only child of two only children who had me when they were over 40. So I had a pretty isolated childhood, but I didn't know any better, and I had my horses and my dogs, and so I was a happy kid. And well, it was only later in high school and really in college that I realized that only child upbringing made me crave community. I was the life of the party. I had to be out every night. I had friends everywhere. And I was like that all the way through my 20s and my 30s. And then my isolation began when I uncovered memories of torture as a kid. And the horror of those memories, it made me powerless. And frankly, I curled up in a ball and hid in my house for, well, months. And I finally bucked up and went on a journey to heal my mind and myself and find my soul again. But I was still more and more of a hermit at home. And over the next 10 years or so, I spent more of my time alone at home, safe, calm, where I was protected. So during COVID, I did not mind being isolated at all. It was a natural thing for me, and I actually thrived being alone. And as the political world grew more and more angry, and I was living in a violent area that became threatening to me, I had a gun shoved in my face for wearing a mask. And I froze at home after that. Moved away to a place that I thought was safer, but the feelings didn't leave. I'd become a hermit, and I thought it was okay for a while. But then I noticed I was always home in my PJs working, but not really connected to anyone. I noticed I'd start to avoid other humans when I left my home to go into public. I mean, taking those extra steps in a parking lot to avoid walking near a stranger. I literally waited for opportunities where there was going to be somebody violent in a grocery store or walking down the street to get out of the way. I get it, they needed to vent, but it simply destroyed me. And I wrote this article partially for myself and partially for others because I realized that isolation had made me trigger into more fear, trigger into more worst case scenarios, into anxiety that I'd really relieved after I cleared all the memories and everything that had happened to me as a child. And so I made a commitment to myself to step back into the world. And I started reaching out for old friends who I'd left behind in my hermitude, scheduling meetings in public and meetups, meetings even on Zoom versus hiding at home with my dogs. And I can tell you this, even after one venture out in public, I felt the urge to connect more. Every time I step out of my safety net and into the world, I breathe a little easier and I feel a little bit more confident. Now, it wasn't fast, and I will tell you, there are times when I just don't want to be around another human being at all, still, which I think in our world is probably okay. But I do know that we need community and we need that sense of connection. And so I persevere. I find reasons to go out, and if it's only to go to the store and pick up a few items, consciously noting that I am in the world and I'm safe. The power is all in our mind to create whatever we want. We know that, or at least I know that, and it has been proven by science. We just haven't been taught that. So for now, I'm focused on creating connections that fuel my mind, my heart, and my soul again, and reliving those connections in joy and safety. And you can do that too. Isolation is a habit pattern we form, and we reward ourselves for following that habit pattern. When we use the power of neuroplasticity that is given to us in our mind, we can change that pattern one step at a time. If you want to change that pattern and you need a little help, I'm happy to share what I've learned with you. Just reach out and contact me.